True Crime Dungeon contains adult content that may be disturbing or too graphic for some audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
My vote is to grant your parole effective when eligible.
And I concur with Commissioner Korda and grant parole. And in addition, our decision, although difficult, is fair and just.
I concur with Commissioner Korda and agree to grant parole.
Mr. Simpson, I do vote to grant parole when eligible, and that will conclude this hearing.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of True Crime Dungeon. I'm Trace.
And I'm Rain.
Today our topic is O.J. Simpson and the recent announcement that he'll be out of prison by October 1st of this year. That means in about 2 months' time, he'll be walking the streets. Yes, he was acquitted of murder, but I don't care what the jury said. To me, I felt like he did it. I felt like he was guilty, so I don't like the idea of someone like him going free.
For now, we'd like to take a moment before we get started and remind you that if you haven't already followed us on social media, please do so. Our handle is @CrimeDungeon on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We also have bonus content for our subscribers, so if you'd like to support what we do and would like to have access to a few cool extras, please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/CrimeDungeon.
So let's get started.
I think that everyone knows who O.J. Simpson or the Juice is.
Right. I mean, if you don't, I think you'd be living under a rock, or
Right.
you're too young to remember.
But even if
Chase.
you're young, I mean, you should know who he is as far as his athletic career and his abilities.
Right, right. He was one of the most popular football players back in the 70s.
During his career, he played for the Buffalo Bills for 9 years, and then for the San Francisco 49ers for another 2 years. He has been awarded just about every football accolade there is.
Yeah.
So, he was a 2-time All-American at USC. He won the Walter Camp and the Maxwell Awards, led his team to a national championship in 1967, and was the recipient of the Heisman Trophy in 1968. That was just in college.
Yeah.
His professional career highlights include 5-time Pro Bowl attendee, 5-time first-team All-Pro, NFL MVP, NFL Offensive Player of the Year, and he still, to this day, holds an NFL record for the most rushing yards per game in a season back from 1973.
That's huge because, I mean, think about that. Even at the athletes at what they are today. I mean, I don't know how many people know this about OJ, but when he was younger, he had braces on his legs to correct his, I think they call it pigeon toes. That's why he has that bow-legged stance of his, is because he had braces on his legs. And his mom thought that getting him into sports would be a good way of exercising his legs. And isn't that amazing?
That is amazing.
And then college recruiters didn't want him. But I thought that was amazing to think that he holds the top record for somebody running. You know, like, you're running, you're using your legs, and here he was just a little boy with braces on his legs, didn't think he would walk.
Not only that, but think about all of the greats who have gone before him and came after him.
Right, and no one can catch him.
You have some very famous people at his position.
Mm-hmm. Everybody thinks they call him the Juice because of OJ, like orange juice. But during his time with the Buffalo Bills, they called the offensive line the Electric Company. And he was the juice that kept it running. Oh. That's how he got his name. Everybody thinks that it's like OJ, like orange juice, you know, but no, it's the juice. He is the electric that kept that line running. And I think that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I didn't know that.
You didn't?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh.
Now, on top of that, he has been inducted into both the College and Pro Football Hall of Fame.
We live in Canton, so the Pro Football Hall of Fame is just like
right down the road.
Right down the road from us. So back before he was in jail a lot, he would come and do the parade and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now, on top of a successful football career, OJ also had several lucrative endorsement deals and a few roles in TV shows and in movies. I think his most memorable role was Detective Norberg in the Naked Gun movies.
Yeah.
I used to love those movies.
I did too.
They were hilarious for their time.
Yeah, Leslie Nielsen was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you think about it, football, endorsements, acting, it seemed like there was nothing he couldn't do.
Right.
Now, everything changed.
Win a Super Bowl, but hey, I'm not going to say that. Well, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. I'm used to not winning anything, so. We always have the Raiders, babe.
Everything seemed to change in 94. OJ was involved in the very controversial criminal case where he was accused of murdering his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her associate, Ron Goldman.
They always say her associate.
Because they can't prove he was her lover.
Well, no, she just met him one time.
They say.
But she left her sunglasses in the restaurant. He brought them to her.
Yeah, but whose accounting was that?
That was the witnesses at the restaurant where he worked. He said he was going to take them to her. Maybe he liked her, but that didn't mean that she was, having sex with him. I don't know either. So her associate...
Yeah, right. So they consider him an associate because they can't prove they were lovers.
Right.
Even though many people think that they were.
Right. So OJ was accused of murdering both of them. A lot of people couldn't believe that he would do something like that. Especially a lot of the people that he was close to.
Well, because, outside of that instance, he seemed to have been a very nice person. Not just his personality, but in the way that he interacted with other people and the way that he gave back. He was the golden boy in LA.
Oh,
when
yeah.
he lived there.
Right. Everybody loved the Juice.
Even if you weren't a Bills or 49ers fan.
He was a football star.
Yeah.
And you can appreciate the talent.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. So, a lot of people didn't believe that he did something like that, but there was a lot of people that knew Nicole that knew for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, that this man killed her. Yeah. And despite tons of evidence that showed that he was guilty of this murder, he still walked free.
Yep.
They still acquitted him. I think the thing was, if the glove doesn't fit, acquit. I think that's what it was, the slogan, But we won't get into too much of that because that's not what we're really talking about. So, if that wasn't enough, he was taken to court in 1996 by Ron Goldman's family. And they filed a civil lawsuit against OJ, claiming that he was responsible for their son's death.
So, what I don't understand is if he was acquitted in a court of law, how can these people sue him for wrongful death?
What they said was, if their son wouldn't have had anything to do with Nicole, that maybe he didn't kill them, but he had something to do with it. His fame, his identity was used to hurt, or they used that to hurt him. Like even if OJ didn't kill Nicole and Ron, somebody might have been, he was the direct reason why they were killed. So regardless of whether he pulled the trigger, used the knife, or whether he ordered someone to do it, or someone was doing it to get to him.
So what they're saying is, if Nicole hadn't known OJ, she would have still been alive.
Right. Or Ron was in association with Nicole with OJ. Right. Ron Goldman's family won that case. And they ordered OJ to pay $33.5 million in damages to this family.
That is a lot.
That is a lot of fucking money.
$33.5 million is a lot of money.
Yeah, it is.
And that's a lot of money now.
Right.
Imagine how much money that would have been in 96.
Right.
It's like 20 years ago.
Right. It's crazy.
Now, 3 years later, in 99, OJ owed more than $1.4 million in back taxes to the state of California. So,
How do rich people get that far in debt?
they don't
Think the law applies to them? Or they got a bad accountant? Or
They
what?
probably don't file taxes. I mean, or file taxes, but not on everything he owns or everything that he did,
Right.
Stuff like that.
So when he owed $1.4 million in taxes. So what's he do? He moves to Miami, Florida, because Florida is one of the only states that has a law that states you don't have to sell your home or your vehicles or anything like that to pay back taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So he has slipped the law so much in his life. Like, he has used his celebrity status. He has used, I'm the juice. I didn't kill this woman. I don't owe these people this money. I mean, when he owed the Goldmans money, he had to sell his stuff to give it to him.
He sold his Heisman.
Yeah. But they ordered for him to sell that. So, it's like, seriously, how do you get that far in debt when you have that much money?
But it happens so often.
I know it does. It's crazy. Like, you see all these celebrities just... So let's move on, because we don't want to...
So, well, now, speaking of all of this money issues, you're starting to see this pattern he's getting into. That ever since the trial for Nicole and Ron, everything's starting to go downhill.
He got away with it, and now he thinks he can just fight the law in all aspects.
No, what I mean is his persona.
Oh, right. People are distrusting him. People don't think of him the same.
Yeah. And more he's getting in trouble.
Right.
Because
for
of
stupid stuff.
Stupid stuff. I mean, like, the next time he was in trouble was 2001. He was arrested in Miami for battery and burglary. Now, what happened is, during a traffic dispute, OJ yanked the glasses off of a man's face. And just for that, he faced up to 16 years in prison.
Right. Because assault. It was a road rage incident.
It was a road rage assault.
Right. Which they look at as being more aggressive than just kicking somebody's ass. Right.
You probably had to stop traffic just to do that.
Well, right. Well, burglary, he took his glasses with him. Now you yanked them off my face, now you're stealing them? Bitch, seriously, give them back.
And he was still acquitted.
Right.
Glove didn't fit still.
Right, the glove didn't fit then.
Right. Then, later that year, his home was searched by the FBI under the suspicion of ecstasy possession and money laundering. Now, you have to be doing some shit to have the FBI suspect you of money laundering. The ecstasy is one thing, because someone of his celebrity status can probably have access to drugs like that.
Right.
But money laundering?
Yeah, what? How would... I don't even know what OJ's in at this point. Like, what is he into?
Probably selling glasses he snatched off of people's faces.
Right? Okay, so the FBI received a tip that OJ was in this big drug trafficking ring. He probably pissed somebody off, knowing him, and overstepped his celebrity status, and they, like, screw off, So an extensive search was done on his home, and there was no illegal drugs found at all. But they did find something else. They did find electronic equipment capable of stealing satellite television programming.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So, O.J. Simpson, the Juice, who has enough money to pay for a $33.5 million lawsuit, is now stealing DirecTV.
Well, he's stealing glasses, too, so... Yeah. So that later leads to a
we're
lawsuit.
not even hard up that we have to steal DirecTV.
Right. But that later leads to a lawsuit.
Yep.
So, now, this one is funny to me because not only is OJ battering people that he in the streets and stealing their glasses and stealing TV programming and running from back taxes. I mean, look at how all this adds up. Now he gets in trouble for endangering manatees. Like, of all fucking things. You're running your boat through a manatee zone.
I love manatees.
I know, right? And they're a protected animal.
Yeah.
So,
and they get hurt all the time because of stupid boaters who don't care about the environment.
Right. So, in 2002, like I said, Simpson was arrested in Miami-Dade County for speeding through a manatee zone, protection zone, and failing to comply with proper boating regulations.
Because he's the juice.
Because he's the juice. He doesn't, the glove doesn't fit.
How does he have a boat when he's stealing cable?
Well, he's the juice. He doesn't feel like he has to pay for it. Mm-hmm. He should get it for free.
Right.
So, the regulation charge was dropped, but he was fined for speeding. Mm-hmm. So, who cares if you just endangered how many manatees that are protected by our government? Who cares? Because you're the juice. Your glove's still flapping around. It doesn't fit still. And he gets fined for speeding, of all fucking things.
Now, this cable TV is going to come back to haunt him. And it did in 2004.
Right.
He was accused by DirecTV of using illegal electronic devices to pirate their broadcast signals, which were the devices found during the FBI raid in 2001.
Right.
The company won $25,000, and Simpson was ordered to pay their additional attorney fees and costs of $33,600.
Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious to me. Like, he thought he was going to win that because he's won everything else. I think that the glove fit just a little bit snug, there on that try. Between the Goldman family suing him for $33.5 million, this here company, DirecTV Incorporated, won $25,000, plus their lawyer fees were paid. That's 2 fingers in the glove.
Now, on top of all of this, as if he hadn't done enough in his life, he decides, I'm the juice, I get away with shit, fuck it, let's do it. So, in 2007, OJ led a group of guys into a room in the Palace Station Hotel Casino in Las Vegas and held everyone at gunpoint while he stole their sports memorabilia from them.
And he said it was his.
Yeah.
He said it was his sports memorabilia, and then he was taking it back because they had stole it from him. There's a way to do that. You go to court, you prove that shit's yours, which he did later. And they said it was his, that it was taken from him illegally. And they were made to give it back. That would have been the right channel.
Yeah.
Instead of taking a gun in there and threatening to shoot people.
He said he didn't even have a gun. He said he didn't know someone else brought a gun.
Right. But, I mean, come on. OJ's always going to pass the buck.
Of all the things to go to prison for.
Stealing your own shit. Right. So, long story short, after a huge ordeal, OJ was sentenced to 33 years in prison with a possibility of parole after 9 years, which is in 2017. That's this year.
Yeah. Now brings us back to the story at hand.
Right. Now brings us to what we're going to report on OJ being paroled.
Earlier this month, on July 20th, the parole board decided to grant O.J. Simpson his freedom.
They asked him if he was humbled by this experience about being in jail, and he said he was, but he when you see the video, it looks like he's sitting there bullshitting with all of his guards, and they're like his friends. And that's the thing with OJ. That's the thing with OJ. That's why he gets away with shit. And it was almost like witnesses said that were there, reporters and stuff said that they had walked, the people on the parole board walked in as if they already had their mind set up that they were going to let this man walk free.
Now, OJ said that he didn't intend to harm anyone when he went into the casino. And of course, like we said earlier, he passed the buck.
Right.
And that it was proved that it was his property that he was trying to get back.
Right. With OJ, the other people turned on him.
Yeah.
So you don't know how much of what is true. They all got lighter sentences for flipping on him. Mm-hmm. And so they all told the same story because they knew that they were going to hang his ass out to dry and they were going to get a year or two.
Right. Now, what stuck out for me when he was talking to the parole board is OJ had this to say.
I've always thought I've been pretty good with people, and I've basically spent a conflict-free life.
What do you think about that?
That's so funny to me. Seriously, that is so funny. A conflict-free life? Are you kidding me? Now, what we just read to you, do you think that is conflict-free? You were,
I think
apart.
I've led a pretty conflict-free life. I've never gotten into trouble. Mm-hmm. I've never gotten a parking ticket, let alone arrested or suspected of or whatever, of doing anything. But this man went on trial for murder. He had to pay a wrongful death lawsuit. He's had to pay DirecTV. He's had to pay lawyers. He's had to pay a bunch of other stuff. He's arrested multiple times. And he went to jail for aggravated burglary.
Stealing his own shit.
But
he's lived a conflict-free life.
Right.
Wow. So once they said that he was going to be given parole, his lawyer filed for him to go into protective custody because he was afraid for this man's life. There are a lot of people out there that will fuck with you if they know you're up for parole and you only have a specific amount. I mean, he was supposed to be in there until October 1st.
Yeah.
So, who's not going to fuck with OJ?
I don't know.
He was a pretty good...
I think nobody's fucked with him since then, so...
No, he has actually been a model prisoner. Mm-hmm. He has helped other people with education. I mean, he has been someone that other prisoners look up to, and he's helped people. But my idea is he's just trying to make contacts.
I don't know, because I want to think that he's a good guy, because you see him and he seems like such a personable guy, but how much of that is real? And how much of that is just a front?
Right. Well, even at his parole hearing, he was blaming other people. He still said, I didn't go there to hurt anybody, and I didn't have a gun. They had a gun. And I mean, he almost got angry about it. You know, like, and these people just let you go, and now you have to prove to the parole board that you have learned something, and you have to admit what you've done. And here he is still passing the buck.
Yeah.
So they placed him into protective custody for his own good until the 1st of October when he can be let free. He plans on going back to Miami and living there with Cato. Isn't that amazing? Are you serious? Yes! You think I'm joking?
Oh, fuck.
These two fuckers, I think they're like lovers. I swear it. What?
I'm speechless.
So, that brings us to our questions. Do you think that after his criminal past and all his dealings with the law, that he should have been granted parole after his first time up for it?
No.
I don't either. Why don't you think?
Because like you said, when you're in prison, you're supposed to show that you learned something.
Right.
And he's still passing the buck. Yeah, he's behaved. Yeah, he probably didn't get into any fights. But let's be honest. He was probably kept in a very low security facility.
Yeah, he wasn't in max on death row or anything.
Right. I mean, they probably sat around and played euchre all day. Like, who knows, right?
And he probably told his old football stories and people fanboying over it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's easy to behave when it's sort of like you're living in college.
Right. Like,
you know, everybody's
college.
in their own little dorm and they have to pay for their snacks, and there's a monitor that comes by and tells you have to go to bed, and, you know,
Right.
I don't know.
No, I get it. As far as I think, I don't think he should have, but by law, it states that they have to parole him if he has done what they wanted him to do.
Right.
He's never had any problems. He's never had a fight. He's never done anything in prison that would say, okay, no, this man is still going on about what he was doing on the outside. So now it's going to be interesting to see whether or not OJ can stay out of trouble, because he's on parole for I don't even know how long.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, one thing they asked him was what were his plans after he got out, and he said he has 4 kids, and he wants to dedicate his time to them.
Right. Right.
That
I mean,
just
his
makes
oldest
me
kid
think.
is in his 40s.
Yeah.
So he probably has grandchildren as well.
Yeah.
Now, another question. Do you think that he's received enough time for what he did, considering his past involvement with the law?
I think this was fair because they judged him for the crime that he committed in this instance. They can't judge him for things that
No,
he had
I'm not
already been
saying
judged
them.
on.
I'm saying you. Do you think that he... Yeah. Do you think karma got served up to him, or...
No. People like him, there's never going to be karma.
Right. They'll always slip in shit and come out smelling like a rose.
Yeah.
Always. Definitely. I don't believe he did either. I believe they should have thrown away the key. But being the law, they can't do that. They have to charge him on the current charges and not what he's done in his past.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So do you think OJ led a pretty conflict-free life after reading all this stuff? I think he did up until the point where he got caught.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I think he's always been this shady. But nobody's ever told on him, or other people have taken the blame.
Yeah, I agree. Until Nicole.
Yeah, until Nicole.
Now, the last question is, do you think OJ is going to stay out of trouble?
No, I don't. I think give him 2 years, he'll be back in jail.
Yeah?
Yeah. Him
See,
and Kato will get into something.
Ugh, Kato.
Those two. I have no idea what goes on between those two. But whatever it is, Kato is down for it. He is down for keeping hush-hush. I think him and Kato killed those two. Or Kato did it for him. OJ made Kato a millionaire. Think about that.
Yeah.
And then his OJ's stupid-ass book. If I had done it, this is what I would have done. You know, which describes exactly what he did. Dumb shit. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode, so we're going to end it here. I know we didn't go into too much detail about O.J. Simpson's past, especially the Nicole Brown Simpson murder case, but we're leaving that story for another episode, because that in itself can span probably an hour, like, oh yeah, probably more, with the way we talk.
Yep. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we'd love to hear your opinion about everything. I mean, do you think that he did it on all occasions? The Nicole Simpson, the Ron Goldman, the burglary. I mean, what do you think? Even if it's a conspiracy theory, we want to hear
I love conspiracy theories, so bring it on. I love it. I love to talk to people about them as well. So, also, before we go, we have finally started our YouTube channel. And we'll post the links in the description for each podcast. We know some of you prefer YouTube, and that's fine by us. We just want you to listen to our stuff, no matter where you listen to it.
But that's all for now, guys. Thanks for listening, and thanks for all your support.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.